Abaticola and Ferrari discuss everything. With Matt Abaticola.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
I'm sorry I ruined your New Year's Eve party. She tastes like cigarettes.
And Jason Ferrari.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Two complete nincompoops with microphones and access to the World Wide Web. Presented by Mickey Finn's Brewery in Libertyville, Lake County's oldest brew pub. Now, here are your hosts for this shit show, Abaticola and Ferrari.
Hello there, podcast friends, and welcome into another episode of Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything, the AFDE show. We're glad to have you along for the ride. This is episode number 42. It's called Bingo Wings, and we're brought to you by Mickey Finn's Brewery, the oldest brew pub in the state of Illinois. Check them out online at mickeyfinnsbrewery.com. They're located right at 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in beautiful and historic downtown Libertyville. He's Jason Ferrari. I'm Matt Abaticola. We're glad to have another episode to provide you with some great entertainment. Remember to tell your friends, family members, coworkers, neighbors all about the AFDE show. And then, after you tell them about us, connect with us on social media. We're on Twitter at AFDE show. You can get us on Facebook at facebook.com/AFDE show and continue those emails, afdeshow@gmail.com. It has a new look. It's beautiful. It's friendly. It's very good looking.
It's bubbly.
It's you describe the Gmail as bubbly?
Yeah, it's like every time they redo it, it's like they make everything like bigger and it's worse.
I'm not sure if I noticed that it's if they redid it. I don't.
Well, no, like if
you
you log out and log back in, it'll be like, hey, in 2 weeks,
really?
Or would you rather do it now? And I couldn't see the bottom because of my stupid monitor, so I clicked now, and now I have the new version.
But it's bubbly, though,
yeah.
And it's new. But you can email us. Jason monitors those all night long. He stays up reading emails from you, so thanks for sending those in to us. And again, this is Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything. It's a great podcast. This is episode 42. It's called Bingo Wings. So right now for us, it's Thursday. Bears-Bengals. Mitchell Trubisky. He came out. I think he's going out for another series. But this is the actual first week of preseason games. The Bears got lucky with the Ravens and the Brian Urlacher and Ray Lewis Hall of Fame game. But this is the actual start of the NFL preseason for the league. Can't believe that it's already here, that summer is gone, that we're in football mode, except for Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
But we'll touch on that in a second. That Brian Urlacher thing, though, was really, really good. I haven't, that's just not my thing to sit down and watch it. But the Urlacher thing, I couldn't pass up. I wanted to see this guy. I mean, this is a Hall of Famer that I watched his entire career in my adult life.
Right.
This guy was drafted the year before I went into radio. So I basically spent, his whole career he played, I was in radio. So I was there for the guy's entire career as a fan, as a member of the media. I wanted to see how he would respond in his speech, how he would portray himself, how he would verbalize his thoughts, and I was just completely blown away. I thought it was great. I thought he was great. I thought everything he said was great. I got choked up and teary-eyed several different times during his speech, talking about his wife and his kids and his mom, his stepdad. That really got me. I thought that was good stuff. But really, really cool to see Brian Urlacher going to the Hall of Fame. And then when he ended, I got the play-by-play from you afterwards because I turned off. I had zero interest in seeing Brian Dawkins. I had less than zero interest in seeing Ray Lewis. And then I heard a couple days later that he went on for 33 minutes.
Well, yeah, remember I told you Eisen beforehand said, because Ray Lewis said my speech is 22 minutes. And Eisen's like, I've got 40. I've got 40,
Oh,
over
did
under
he
40.
really?
Yeah, like, but it was
apparently
ridiculous.
they wanted him to stay around 15 minutes. But Brian went 19, so he was around there.
Yeah. While saying a few times, again, there are many people to thank, but I'm trying to be respectful of people's time, which
Right.
is the opposite of Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis, who went more than double the time, went 33 minutes. But yeah, I haven't even seen any highlights of that guy's speech either, and I'm not trying to avoid it. I haven't seen it, and I'm okay with that too. I did see a couple highlights of Brian Dawkins talking about the Philadelphia Eagle fans. But that's fine. You watched for me,
and
so
his he considered suicide when he was a rookie.
Yeah.
A lot of depression stuff. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just that I don't like, this isn't like a pulpit. I don't want to watch a bunch of people preaching. Like I don't need that. That's not
Right.
what I'm watching for.
I want to hear about the people that got you to the point where you're at in your life,
Yeah.
where you got into the Hall of Fame, and about your teammates and some stories. Be cool. Now, Kramer was pretty cool.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I thought that was really good, and I only watched that because it was leading up into Urlacher, and I was
can't
over at Crystal's house and
believe
heard they're Packers fans.
I
Her
can't
dad's a huge
believe the
fan.
amount
So
of time that is, though. That's
Yeah.
so crazy.
It is
Like,
crazy.
The dude retired 50 years ago, so he's been eligible for 45 years
Right.
for the Hall of Fame.
right, he's been eligible
That's
longer
unbelievable.
than we've been alive.
Yeah.
And I guess Terrell Owens. He had his own ceremony in the University of, where was he?
Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Chattanooga. That's right. He had a point. But I've always said this. I haven't been as passionate about the football Hall of Fame as I am baseball's Hall of Fame, which is a mess in my opinion. Once you retire, when you become eligible, if you're a Hall of Famer, then you go in. If you're not a Hall of Famer, then you don't go in. And there is no third time, fifth time around. T.O. has a point. If he was a Hall of Famer in his third year, his stats haven't changed. He's a Hall of Famer the first time around.
Right.
And I know in baseball more so because I'm more familiar with it. There are writers and reporters, and there are relationships that can positively or negatively affect your voting. And guys are kind of taught a lesson, and they're not allowed in the first time, even though they're a Hall of Famer. It's just dumb.
Right.
Either you are or you aren't.
Well, yeah, he's a head case, and people don't like that.
Right. But you know what? It doesn't matter.
I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, we're on the same page with it. It's just
Yeah.
the guy he's one of the top 5 wide receivers in the history of the NFL, and the fact this guy had to wait 2 years to teach him a lesson, I wouldn't have gone either. He missed out on a great opportunity for himself, but I really hope, and nothing's going to be done with it, especially because that he's the messenger of this narrative.
Right.
They won't do anything. You know what? It's if
Well, did you see
if
what
you're
they said?
if there are 15 guys eligible, and if all 15 are Hall of Famers, then all 15 should go in. This, limit it to 5 is stupid.
So the NFL is discussing making it mandatory for you to appear as a result of that.
Of course. I mean, of course that's what that's what their response.
I didn't.
would be.
Yeah, no,
Of
and I
course
didn't.
It would be.
I didn't read about it, but I did see Eisen tweet
dumb.
about it, and his tweet just said, "Don't go down that road." It's dumb.
So stupid.
It's stupid. It is.
Right. And like I said, if they just happen to have, and this happened to be arguably the best Hall of Fame class that ever went into the Hall of Fame. I mean, you can look at it by the numbers.
once,
the Super Bowl
yeah.
appearances, the all team. What else was it? There was another one in there, but it was like they were
Well, I mean, think about it. Yeah, you've the from the defensive
first team
side.
All-Pro, Super Bowl appearances, and Pro Bowl appearances.
Yeah, I know. Remember they showed a stat at the very beginning, and it was like the number of receptions, touchdowns, tackles, interceptions, and sacks, and it was
Yeah.
like, oh my god!
Yeah.
It was like it looked like it would be like an entire team for its entire, which could actually be the
Right.
case since like a team has been in existence. But yeah, it was that small group of players, and even a lot of the Hall of Famers who work on the NFL Network were saying like Terrell Davis and Kurt Warner and stuff were
Yeah.
like, man, like they're all making jokes saying if they were one of the options this year, they would not be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah?
as they're looking at the group that's going in,
Right.
and it's totally true.
Right.
I mean, they would eventually, but yeah, those are more like, I guess, fringe guys. Yeah, but you're right. The second you're eligible,
Either you're in or you're out. Right.
Like or you don't.
Right.
Like that whole waiting
It's stupid.
45 years. And
Right, and,
especially with like that guy, like come on, man, he's like the hero of a Super Bowl. He was on all the Lombardi teams. Like, just give me a break.
Right,
and
and
then
then
one
but
of those
easy
to forget too.
in baseball, how they punish a guy to teach a guy a lesson, because he wasn't so friendly with the reporters, or he didn't give him enough comments or take enough time. I mean, or he was a jerk to reporters. Great, who cares? He's being evaluated on what they did in
Right.
their sport.
Like Pete Rose,
Right.
for example. Yeah.
Yes, I get what he did. Great, but it's a museum. It's historical. It's a guy who performed on the field. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. Mark McGwire should be in the Hall of Fame. You talk about PEDs. You can't single those guys out because like they were the only ones that did it.
Right.
I mean, it was a thing in baseball.
Well, kind of like
and it's the steroid era.
Would you do The asterisk.
No, I wouldn't do an asterisk,
Yeah,
but I would be honest about it. So like, yeah, there was a period in time where PEDs was extremely prevalent in our sport. Some guys benefited more than others from it. Barry Bonds would have been a Hall of Fame player without PEDs. He just elevated himself to like historical
The
numbers.
two players you mentioned, hat size went up 300%.
You know, a guy like Sammy Sosa. You know, that whole thing is like,
Oh,
you know,
my
the
God.
Sosa and the Cubs relationship. Like the Cubs want him to admit he used PEDs, otherwise he can't come back. That's dumb. That's dumb. I mean, you guys. I mean, the Cubs organization rode that guy's coattails for years.
Oh, yeah, 'cause they
celebrate the guy.
sucked.
Celebrate the guy. So what? So he used steroids in the late '90s and 2000s. Okay, great. He wasn't the only one. It was a thing in baseball. Just accept it for that period of time that baseball was, and move on. Put the guys in the Hall of Fame who belong in the Hall of Fame. The same thing with football players. To limit the class is dumb in my opinion. If 15 guys happen to be eligible at the same time and all 15 are Hall of Famers or 13 of them are, then put all 13 in.
The ones you're not sure about, just don't get a speech.
Right, that's fine too.
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Okay, I mean, that's
even if like not,
ridiculous.
maybe not for TV.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you have it over a weekend. You just
Right.
maybe you pick. All right, these 5 are the top 5 in this class.
Or-
they get the prime time.
Kind of the like at the awards shows where
Oh,
it's like
you
previously
show
this
highlights.
evening.
Yes, absolutely.
The best
Achievement in scientific sound.
Exactly, the best graphic designer.
Right.
Whoa, cool.
Here's a C level actor and actors with big boobs.
The
They
craft
presented
services
the-
guy from Avatar.
Right.
Awesome.
Right. So yeah, absolutely. And to be like, hey, on Friday night ceremony, we honored blank, 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 and blank, and then earlier today we honored these guys, and here's the 5 that are getting the prime time because they're the 5 best. That's fine. You think one of those guys would say no? Oh, I don't want this if I'm not going to be a primetime speech.
Right.
I'm a Friday night guy. Forget. No, they would all take it.
Yeah, prime. Remember, it used to not like the NFL is so ridiculous with the primetime crap.
Oh, I
like
know.
seriously, I mean, everything is so much better on like Saturday during the day. Just do it on
Right.
Saturday during the day.
When more people
It
wanna
doesn't
watch
need to go
them.
till like 10:30
Right.
at night because Ray Lewis can't shut up.
Right, let more kids watch that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just whatever. But back to Brian Urlacher, good stuff.
Oh, man.
That was a great speech, and really, really happy for him. And
The turnout was so cool.
yeah, it was so cool.
Oh, my
I mean,
God.
all the players that were there. It was funny too.
Yeah, they
they're
had
scrolling
30+
down on the
people
bottom,
there. Yeah.
all the teammates. I love how they put Dan Pompei in there. Did you notice they
Yeah.
have his name? I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
but he's not a teammate of Urlacher. I thought that was funny. I chuckled up about that. I wonder what Dan
Well,
would
they
have
had
thought
some,
of that.
they had some sports writers on
Yeah.
there, some ex players,
Just
some
funny,
ex
though.
coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, like Rivera, and Olsen ditched practice.
Oh, yeah.
To come. Like the head coach left training camp to come to this. Like,
Yeah, that's
a
what
big deal.
Lovey talked about too. He
Yeah.
arranged practice on Saturday,
Right,
so it was
and then
early,
they
so he could
drove
catch a
up.
fly out, or
They drove.
whatever
he and his
did.
wife
Yeah,
drove. Yeah, they
They
got
really?
there like 30 minutes before it started too.
Wow. But that's cool, and that just shows a lot about Brian Urlacher and the kind of teammate that he was. But it was great to see how he's evolved to as a speaker, where the guy hated doing interviews. I mean, he didn't want to talk to a reporter, and here he gets in, and does a beautiful speech.
Yeah.
I just thought he did a great job, and it was. I watched it twice. It was great.
He
Good
really
stuff.
did. That was my favorite one. I mean, Moss's wasn't bad, but it's hard to stay checked in after the reason that you're watching
Right.
is done. But the one last thing I'll say about the Ray Lewis situation is like it's just kind of amazing to me that the NFL seems to have like that Men in Black memory eraser thing for
certain people.
for their superstars.
Yeah.
Because I never heard mention of that at all
Yeah.
leading up of anything. And I'm not saying he was necessarily guilty of anything, but like the fact that he was surrounded with controversy, like
Right.
that's a big deal. And then T.O., like it's just the guy might have been a loudmouth, but he didn't do anything.
Right.
He wasn't a part of a murder trial.
Right.
So it's insane, like I mean the amount of people who get protected and then the fringe guys are like completely
Well, I think
thrown under the bus.
It really sums it up when you said that their response about the TO thing was they might make it mandatory. I think that's the NFL
That's
in
typical.
a nutshell right now.
Yep.
That's what it is, and it's too bad. There's been more on the national anthem controversy where it was mandatory. Now they kind of pulled back from that as well, and some people are telling Jerry Jones to shut up, and that all the Cowboy players are going to have to do it. It's like they're so messed up right now. There's so many issues, and there's so many things that they can do to make their sport better.
Yeah.
And they're so concerned with this fringe garbage,
Right.
all this outside stuff. It's like,
but it's completely it's completely political crap.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just not. You're right. You know, I mean, but I will say, and I do have something about Jim Brown talking about it for segment.
Oh, cool.
For
Okay.
segment 2.
Awesome.
But I feel like the players' union. What's his name? DeMaurice Smith.
Yeah, DeMaurice Smith.
Like
DeMaurice.
he sucks. Like the players' union. I respect the players who are on it, like Sam Acho being like our player rep. The
Right.
guy's like probably smarter than everyone on the team.
Right.
But this guy's useless. Like he completely kowtows. Like nothing is being done. You know, like with the Smith contract situation, the fact that the CBA says that these rookie contracts should be absolutely simple, but then
Right.
they're standing pat on these
Right.
ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing
things.
though,
Like,
with the football players in the CBA, until these superstars all and I mean like the big names, until they all agree
Right.
that hey, we're not going to play and we'll forfeit money to get until they make that extreme stand, nothing's ever going to change.
that's one of the things that Brown was talking about.
Right.
You know. So, but it's I don't know. I just feel like they're not represented well. You know. I mean. Like some
They're
of
not
these, some of these
because-
players
but-
aren't even
but
on
they're not-
rosters that
but-
deserve to be.
But they're not represented well because they're not willing to die on a hill
Right.
to make things better
Right.
for players
Not-
moving forward.
No one in the higher echelons jumping on a grenade anytime soon.
Right.
No.
Like if Tom Brady said I'm sitting down, I'm not playing until we resolve these issues for players and contracts and guaranteed comp ball. If Tom Brady did it, you see how quick things would happen?
Yeah.
How quick things would change?
Well, yeah, but they also I didn't think that they would keep him out that long for deflated balls either.
Well,
maybe yeah.
That's
but-
another topic to get into about their penalties. I mean, you deflate balls when you get 4 games,
Right, but then,
you,
like-
you beat your girlfriend up
yeah,
and throw in a
domestic
big
violence
right.
and rapists.
You get
and,
two games.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it
you can
gets
appeal it.
reduced. But it's it's only 1 game now. Like, all right, great, but don't you dare touch our footballs. Go ahead and get your hands all over your wife. Oh God, how about that story with Ohio State, Urban Meyer?
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know. I
have not had a chance to really look.
I almost
deep
said
into that at all.
I almost said I don't know how he survives this, but I stopped myself because it's Urban Meyer and it's college football. I mean, that's how he'll survive it because that's what happens.
Right.
It's just as dirty and dumb as the NFL is.
Right.
So it's an assistant coach, the domestic abuse. Apparently not apparently because our text message there's proof of it and he's admitted to knowing about it. She went to Urban Meyer and his wife and there was text message to prove the conversation that he knew it. Urban Meyer initially denied knowing anything it was even going on, and then now it's come out that he did know about it. She's went on record saying that he knew about it. The assistant coach has gone on in interviews and said, yeah, Urban Meyer knew about it. So now he's on a paid leave while the investigation goes on. And I love Ohio State. The very next day, this guy gets suspended. The very next day, these idiots come out and they're like, "Oh, we're going to wrap this up in 2 weeks and we'll have our conclusion." How do you know that? Like, how do you put a timetable on an investigation that just started?
Right.
That to me says one of two things: either that they're working out details and this guy's getting his walking papers, which I don't see, or hey, we did our due diligence, we put time into it, and we believe Urban Meyer did everything he was supposed to do within the letter of the law and how it's written at Ohio State, and yeah, so he's going to be suspended and miss a couple games, but then he'll be back from there, and
Yeah,
that's how
the
it's
head
gonna go.
coach of Central Tennessee State is already fired at this point. But,
Right. Oh yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Right. Exactly.
It's
So
winning. It's winning.
right, that's what it comes down to. So I stopped myself from saying, how does he survive? Well, he survives because it's Ohio State. He's Urban Meyer, and he's a god in that state, and it's a dirty, crummy sport, college football. So
Sucks. I mean, I love football, but it's the other side of things is
Right.
really starting to convolute it, which is unfortunate.
all right, so we jumped right into things there. We'll get back more into football. I have a Bears thing I want to get into. You have Jim Brown for the second segment.
Yeah.
We'll get into that as well. But
do Bears.
what's been going on?
Oh.
What's been going on? So since our last episode, since we did Cold Cut Taco.
Nothing. No, just
Same old
honestly,
stuff.
just health
Yeah.
stuff, like trying to get better. Like I know people of the podcast will be shocked that I have given up drinking for a while, like, and I feel pretty good. So yeah, that's one thing. Here's something that
Well, look, before, because I don't want that to escape and just let that linger.
Yeah.
You've given up drinking because of other health issues you're working through.
Yeah.
And it's just not the best time to do it. And there's nothing that happened where
Right.
it's like,
No.
right, so yeah,
it's
no.
just-
I'm
yeah,
saying
or
that
it's
to
not
people.
caused
Right.
by that
Right.
by any means.
Right.
No, I've just
So-
had some stuff going on where I feel like I'm adjusting my diet and on a like a treatment regimen, and I just figured that's like the easiest thing to just get rid of.
To eliminate, to help
I don't
this process
I don't
along.
need
Right.
anything to like be thrown onto it that makes it more challenging. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, like I'll probably have some beers at some point, in the near future, but for the short term, it's nice. Get
that's-
some clarity.
Right, and that's a good thing. Like, was it March of last year when I went on a diet after my doctor's visit? My blood pressure was high. I went on a pretty strict diet, and I cut alcohol out for, what did I go, like 55 or 57 straight days without it, just to kind of aid that process of getting to a certain point. And then after that, well, and just in moderation, and
Right.
cut out. I stopped drinking craft beer for over a year. I kind of got back into it a little bit. I've had one here or there, but we had that trip to Michigan. I couldn't pass up.
Well, when
craft
you-
beer at those
the
breweries
breweries.
we're stopping
Yeah.
at, so it's kind of hard not to
Asking
have
them
one.
for a silver bullet when you're up there.
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
what are you doing here?
Right. We have 18 homemade brews on tap. I'll have a Miller Lite, please, in a bottle. Thanks.
It's got Schlitz. I'll order that.
$2.50.
I don't really order that anywhere else because
Right.
you can't really get it anywhere else.
Right.
Wisconsin, you can, but
So just so there's clarity. There's no particular reason other than just aiding yourself
No,
in
man,
the process you're going through health
just
wise.
health.
Right.
Yeah. I will imbibe at some point. Just seems unnecessary
Yeah.
in the path to health.
I was flipping through this magazine, and I saw, or was it a newspaper? Yeah, it must have been a magazine. And because I still haven't read a newspaper since I left the Score in May of 2017. A magazine, and there was a recipe for peach tea bourbon. So it was like a whole homemade tea, and put peaches in it, blah blah blah, brew it all up yourself, and then you get some good bourbon with mint and lemons. And I'm like, well, that sounds really good, but I'm not making my own tea.
Mint?
Yeah, so mint. So I went to the store and I bought 3 different brands of peach tea to see which one I liked the best, and then in a glass, some lemon, some mint, muddled it down there, threw the ice in, threw some Jim Beam bourbon, and it was in a. I bought it because it was the cheapest one that was there, and it was in a Cubs commemorative label.
Oh, nice, yeah.
It was like $17 for the small bottle, and then some peach tea, and I drank over the weekend some peach tea and bourbon. It was delicious.
Sure it is.
Except the mint gets in your mouth, and
Yeah.
that's the only bad thing about it.
I like Pure Leaf.
That's not so. That's the second one I used. The first one was Gold something. Is there a Gold Peak?
Peak.
That was really good.
Okay.
That was really really good. So I did a taste test of the Gold Peak and the Pure Leaf, and then Snapple, and then the Gold Peak went out. That's the one.
Well, I like the
drank
Pure
through
Leaf
first.
because it's not the sugary one. Like
You-
the
right.
other ones are much better peach flavor, but I
Uh-huh.
like the one, because I don't feel like I'm getting the diabetes when I have my iced tea.
You don't want well, I take my Cardio for Life every day, so I'm good on the diabetes. That helps control my diabetes.
One other thing that's happening that I did not tell you about is the month of September I'm going to
Have a sex change.
do vegan.
Are you really?
Yeah, and if I like it, I'm going to continue it.
I don't really know vegan all that well. Is this vegan? You can't eat anything that had a face at one time.
Basically, yeah.
Right.
But no dairy, no meat. So it's like all plant-based stuff.
Okay. The
No processed.
The no meat thing. I pretty much do that now. I eat more seafood than anything.
Yeah.
And then if I do eat any kind of other meat, I do chicken, and that's very rare now, and pork. But I don't do much red meat. I had a steak the other day. That was the first time I had a steak, and I can't even remember the last time I had a
Well,
had a
yeah. At
steak.
the end of this month, I've got to go on like a meat bender before I
Yeah.
before I get rolling with this.
like
but-
12 pounds of bacon a day.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's fine. Like I have some
So
friends who do
vegan
it.
is nothing with a face, no dairy.
Yeah. So it's like
See, I would miss cheese though. I
Yeah.
love cheese.
I know, but I've got.
Cheese and crackers.
I'm not like
that's a good
I'm not
snack.
like lactose intolerant because but I can't like drink glasses of milk without feeling like complete garbage.
Yeah.
So,
And
but that's
poop in
like
your pants.
Yeah, that's like way too much dairy at once, or
Okay.
like you eat a whole pizza and you deserve feeling like crap. After
more
that.
sex with cows
after
either,
that
then.
anyway. No, yeah.
Right.
I'll leave that to some
That's
of the
out.
stories we find.
That's out.
Yeah, no more bovine sex.
It's illegal in some states.
Yeah.
Not all.
But yeah, no, it's vegetables, fruits, whole grains. I'm not really like the biggest tofu guy, but whatever. Like anything that
Well, you can do beans though. If you get good
beans.
protein
Like,
from
I don't
beans.
mind. Like I like all the stuff that it is, and I don't know that it's going to be that difficult to give up the other stuff.
I don't think it will be.
And if and it's not like I've committed to it for my whole life. It's just like I'm gonna do it for a month, and if
Yeah.
I feel good, then maybe I'll extend it to 2 months. Like
Right.
it's. I don't know. I have friends who do it, who swear by it, who said that like they started to feel so good on it, they stopped taking some of their medications, they're sleeping better, and these are all
Really?
things that I'm like, I want to do also.
Interesting.
You know, I don't want to be on a bunch of medications, and I want to sleep.
You're starting that in September.
Yeah.
Okay. If I'd say I'd do that with you, but I'm not.
No,
Yeah, I'm not
I
gonna
would
say
not
that either.
expect anyone to commit to it, and we'll talk about it. You know, I mean, like if we can manage to record weekly, we'll get 4 updates of my my
maybe
vegan diet.
You could email your favorite vegan recipes at
Yeah, please do.
afdeshow@gmail.com for Jason's
I wonder if there's
vegan diet.
if anyone who listens to our show is vegan.
I guarantee it.
Really?
Oh, there's got to be at least
No, that'd be
one.
great. Well, if you're listening, afdeshow@gmail.com.
Yeah, if you're a vegan, email us and we'll send you a special AFDE show gift, autographed.
Like all the crap that we're not going to eat. I'll just send it to you in a box.
A
You get
non-refrigerated
like
box.
two sleeves of Ritz crackers and
Enjoy.
like some baking soda.
It's a moldy cheese.
Whatever I've got in there. Some those like Trish doesn't use the full box of noodles when she makes pasta, so you get like
I don't either, because if you do a whole box and then a whole jar of sauce, like me and the kids are eating together, there's not enough sauce for mine or Hank's liking. So I don't do the whole box, and that way it's more saucy.
Yeah.
Because Hank and I like saucy.
That's what she does. I go with the veggie pasta now anyway. So like, and I'm the only one who's eating it. So
Okay.
I make it so I can have like 6 meals.
Yeah, so Hank would like, if I gave him like 10 noodles and a bowl of sauce, like it was soup,
Yeah.
he would be completely happy with that.
I buy the 2. I started getting the 2 smaller jars of sauce.
Okay.
And you know instead of just using the one larger
Gotcha.
one.
Yeah.
So it's like the one is like 28 ounces, and then the 2 it's like 32 ounces. So
Yeah.
I do that with the box of veggie pasta. It's good.
Yeah, I got a bag of veggie pasta at home too. I gotta whirl that up. I had cheese tortellini last night.
Ooh. Oh yeah, that's right. I had
A little garlic and olive oil. It was good.
I had a salad and some
Parmesan cheese.
some cereal and soy milk before I went to bed.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good stuff.
This-
Yeah, so email your vegan recipes to Jason at afdshow@gmail.com. All right, here's one story I want to get into, a political story, because this has just been so fascinating to me. The hole that Donald Trump keeps digging for himself is just fascinating. And this whole Russian collusion thing, remember the meeting that Don Jr. had at Trump Tower with a Russian attorney?
Right.
And remember when it came out that it was happening, or that it had happened, Don Jr. came out and he said that it was all about Americans adopting Russian kids. That was the whole basis for the meeting, and it wasn't about anything to do politically.
Right.
So now, since then, we've known that was a lie, and that they were meeting to get dirt on Hillary Clinton.
Russian kids.
Okay. Yeah, right, and Americans. Jared Kushner and also Paul Manafort were also at this meeting. Remember, at the time, Donald Trump said he knew nothing about the meeting. And then when Donald Trump Jr. released a statement about what the meeting was about, Trump was like, I had no idea it was even happening. Then a couple weeks later, he found out that Trump not only knew about it, but he crafted the statement they released about the meeting. And now Donald Trump released a tweet a few days ago saying that that this kind of stuff happens all the time. That in politics it happens, trying to get dirt on an opponent. There's nothing illegal about it, except what is illegal is working with a foreign country in our political system to get information about someone in America. That is illegal.
Right.
This guy tweeted out that not only did he know about it, but he supports it and claims that to be illegal. It's the best thing ever. So this is the Washington Post. U.S. President Donald Trump has offered his most definitive and clear public acknowledgement that his oldest son met a Kremlin-aligned lawyer at Trump Tower during the 2016 campaign in order to, quote, get information on an opponent, end quote. The president defended the meeting as, quote, totally legal and done all the time in politics, end quote.
Just think that handful of knuckleheads are meeting together to discuss the adoption of Russian children. If I'm going to think of anybody,
Right.
anybody in the world
Right.
who's concerned about the adoption of any
Like, could you
children,
imagine
let
that?
alone Russian children,
You're like, Mr.
it's
President,
Paul Manafort.
We've had a situation come up
Either
with the
of those-
Russian government.
the Trump kids.
The Russian government wants to speak to us about Americans adopting Russian kids. Oh, yeah. Let's send Don Jr., my son-in-law, and Paul Manafort. That's a great. Like, I wouldn't send my wife or Ivanka Trump, right? You wouldn't send your daughter or your wife to deal with that. No, you want to send Don Jr., because when I think of, like, raising children, nothing comes to my mind more than creepy Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's dating some chick from maybe CNN or Fox News.
Fox News. She quit, and she's like joining the campaign.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
It is, however, against the law for United States campaigns to receive donations or items of value from foreigners. The meeting between Mr. Trump Jr. and the Russian lawyer is now the subject of special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation. While collusion is not mentioned in U.S. criminal statutes, Mr. Mueller is investigating whether anyone associated with Mr. Trump coordinated with the Russians, which could result in criminal charges if they entered into a conspiracy to break the law, including cyber hacking or interfering with the election. So we know how that's gonna turn out because, when they get to Paul Manafort, because Rick Gates' testimony this week is telling all the dirt on Paul Manafort. Now that had nothing to do with the Russia thing or Russia colluding with Russia, but he and Paul Manafort were doing so many illegal things outside of that hey, there's smoke, there's fire, right? If they're doing illegal things here. So Paul Manafort was completely dirty in his
right.
business
I don't
life,
see them
but
being
was completely clean in his
laser
political
focused
life.
in just the one area.
Listen, I'll be dirty in my business life, but I'm certainly not going to be dirty in my political life. Okay, right. It's all going to come out, and with each passing day, we just get one day closer to it happening, and that's what makes me very excited.
I agree, and I literally have. Wow, we both just did it.
Yeah, I know.
We just I don't have anything in my entire rundown about politics. So but because most of those things weren't even on purpose.
Right.
It'd be like we just end up there. But I figured you'd bring it.
No,
so
I
got
wanted to talk
nothing.
about that
Yeah,
because
no, that's fine.
I'm like I said, with each passing day, with more information, with more people getting indicted and testifying, it's just we're getting one day closer to Donald Trump, to something happening to him because he's not going to make it.
Yeah.
He can't make it.
No.
And we saw what happened in the special election in Ohio, the 12th District, Ohio, the other night, where that was 40 years in a row, or for 4 decades, a seat held by a Republican. It's a district that Trump won by 10 or 12 points in 2016, and this guy won by less than 2,000 votes over a Democrat. It's shifting. Things are changing, but again, and Crystal and I were talking about the other day. I'm like, who does the Democratic Party have? I know Bernie's your guy, but who's the guy?
Well, no,
for 2020?
there's no one.
I know, but there isn't anyone. Right.
Well, there may be, but there's no one.
I don't know who it is now.
We don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
but we're getting there.
Yeah.
Man, it's it's September almost in 2018. We're getting there.
Yeah.
So I just wonder
Well,
who it's
midterms
going to be.
are in almost 2 months.
Right.
2 months? 2.5 months?
I think so. Yeah.
November. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That's my Donald Trump, and I love just reading the stuff now about it and just retweeting it. I don't add any comments. Although I did have a tweet for Trump today. I told him today that if he wanted to MAGA, if he wants to make America great again, that he should every person in the United States should be certified in a class, certified in these 4 areas: escalator etiquette, elevator etiquette, umbrella etiquette, and zipper merging while driving. I think if everyone in society was qualified to operate in those 4 areas of life, that society would be much better.
Public transit too.
We can add it in there. As far as what, getting on and off, using.
Yeah.
What?
No. Once you're
Well,
on,
the
that's
bus thing's a problem.
a whole different thing.
It's a whole other
No,
world.
but the train, people who are just standing there when you can't even exit. Dude, I just shoulder drop. I've been doing that for so long.
That is a good point. I forgot about that with my Metro days because you try to get off the train.
People are
and the people
right
are trying
there.
to get on. It's just give them some space.
At
The
least
conductors
get
are always
up exit.
back away from the doors, please.
People need to get off the train.
Right. So, yeah, we can add that as the 5th one. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the umbrella etiquette always got me down in the city. People were never conscious of the fact that they're carrying an umbrella and they might be 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
And one of the spikes at the end of your umbrella might get me in the eye.
Oh man!
It's your responsibility.
I'm constantly, still to this day, walking out onto the street to avoid getting hit in the face by people with umbrellas.
If you carry the umbrella, it's your responsibility to maneuver the umbrella to not hit someone else.
Right.
It's not my responsibility to move out of your umbrella's way.
They nail the trees and then you get soaked by the residual.
The overhang, right?
Yeah.
For sure. Escalator thing the same way. You walk on your left, you stand on the right. Elevators the same way. The doors open. Wait till people getting off the elevator. Get out before you start walking in.
Yeah.
How many times have you ever tried to get off and had to move out of the way and let people on as you were trying to get off, and then you just stand there?
Yeah.
I'm getting.
Well,
getting
I've seen,
off now.
I've felt it too, but not that was only when I was a rookie. But I mean, I still to this day I see the panic on people's faces on the train.
Right.
Who are I'm not going to be able to get off this train.
Right.
I'm
you're an idiot.
screwed.
Right.
I can't get off the train. You could just see
Right.
excuse me.
Yeah. Gotta get off here.
Get off.
Because you're an idiot, I might miss my stop.
Yes.
That is not fair. It's not right. But yeah, we can add that to the public transit etiquette as well. I was listening to the station this morning, to the Score, and Bernstein and McKnight were talking about Bears. And Dan is like full on like meatball about the Bears making the playoffs this year. Like, he's crazy about it, which I don't think is going to happen.
Really?
Yeah, but
I did read his quote about Smith.
What do you say?
Well, he was just talking about that they're
about Roquan Smith,
the
yeah.
inside information.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
they're at a stand. That's who I read.
That they haven't talked in
we were
days.
talking about
okay.
this.
So, but he kept talking about how we need to hold the Bears to a higher standard. That they're the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears. He goes, they're not the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so it
They
sparked
might
something.
win the Super Bowl.
So I went and, the Jaguars came in the league in 1995, and I just wanted to do a comparison since 95. The Bears might be the Jacksonville Jaguars, Dan. And for the rest of us listening here, on episode number, what is this? Number 42, and it is called Bingo Wings. Since 1995, the Jaguars have compiled a record of 165 and 203. They have gone to the playoffs 7 times, including 4 years in a row, which is that's pretty good. 96 through 99.
Right, the second year in the
Second
league,
year, yep.
Coughlin took them
Second,
to the playoffs.
third, fourth, and fifth
the
year.
Panthers did that year
Yep.
too, both expansion franchises.
In their division, they have had 3 first-place finishes, 6 second, 7 third, 5 fourth, and 2 fifth. The Bears in the same amount of time. Remember, the Jaguars have gone 165 and 203. The Bears have gone 167 and 201. 2 games better than the Jaguars. They've had 3 less playoff appearances in that time, and they've gone to the playoffs in consecutive years only once, where they went 05 and 06. In their division, they've finished first 4 times, second 2 times, third 6 times, fourth 6 times, and fifth 4 times. So in that time, now the win-loss record is pretty much the same. The Jaguars have won the playoffs 3 more times, so that's a win. This was another thing that I looked up. The all-time leading QB and wide receivers. We know the poor history of Bears QBs and Bears wide receivers.
95 was Kramer.
Eric Kramer.
Yep.
The Jaguars' all-time leading passer
Brunell,
has
right?
25,698 yards and 144 touchdowns.
Keenan or Smith or both?
I don't know. I don't remember who it was.
Keenan McCardle or Jimmy Smith?
It might have been Smith. Yeah, I'd look it up. Again, I just had the numbers down. Bears, for the Bears, their top quarterback ever was Jay Cutler.
Right.
Finished with 2,200 yards less, 23,443, but did have 10 more touchdowns at 154. The Jaguars' leading wide receiver finished with 12,287 yards and 67 touchdowns.
That's got to be Jimmy Smith.
The Bears' leading wide receiver is still Johnny Morris.
Yep.
At 5,059 yards and 31 touchdowns. It's embarrassing.
Think about those Jacksonville teams in 96 to 2000. They had a beast mode defense. They had a great. I mean, they've got what, 2 Hall of Famers on the 2 offensive linemen in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
They had Fred Taylor, or no. Wait, was Fred? No,
What?
that was no. Who was?
He was later.
Yeah. Damn it. There's another guy who was a stud though.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then Brunell.
Yeah.
It's like they had. I mean, for an expansion team, they got their stuff together quick.
Yep.
It's not surprising that Coughlin is back there and they're doing that. The guy who's won 2 Super Bowls.
Right,
So-
but I sent Dan a text. I told him, I was like, stop insulting the Jaguars by comparing them to the Bears. I mean, hey, 3 more playoff appearances.
no. I mean, yeah. If you want to do
3 more chances to win it. And this is a team that, last year was on the verge of going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Just couldn't
They
get
are
over the
this year,
Patriots.
too.
Right. They certainly are.
with that, and the quarterback's terrible,
Right.
but it doesn't matter.
But that defense is
insane.
stupid. Right.
Yeah.
That's a stupid defense.
Right. Well, and so is the offense, man. Like, I mean, they lost their starting wide receivers, and they're still a better offense than most of the league.
All right. One other note, too. As I was just driving in and catching up scores, the Brewers lost today. The Cubs are off today, and that means the Cubs are now 2 games ahead of the Brewers for the best record in the National League. And it's funny where things have come with this organization. 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, if the Cubs had a 2-game lead on August 9th and had the best record in the National League, this whole town would have been going crazy.
Yeah.
Right now, people are wondering what's wrong with them, how they're underachieving. I mean, that's what happens, when getting to the playoffs is a regular thing and expected now. And, under Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer, they've gone to the NLCS 3 years in a row now. And, I mean, they're going to make the playoffs again this year, and they should make a long playoff run. It's crazy how things have turned. I mean, you have a World Series banner, World Series championship, and you're 2 games up in your division. You're the best record in the National League, and people are more upset about what's wrong with this team than what they're actually doing right. And I love the fact that they don't have all the pieces in place right now with Chris Bryant's hurt on the DL. Their big free agent signing and Yu Darvish isn't pitching. You don't know. He had a simulated game. You don't know when he's back. Their big free agent closer they signed in Morrow from the Dodgers is on the DL and not pitching. You don't even have your full roster. Is not even there. And you're 2 games up in your division against an upstart Brewers team. You have the best record in the National League, and Cub fans are upset. I love the transformation it's become now. I love it. I think it's great. It's great because it just shows that you expect. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what every organization should have from its fan base.
So I do agree with Dan from that standpoint. However, when we've talked about this a lot on the show, you and I have talked about this since we've known each other.
Oh, about the Bears and Jags comparison.
But no, yes, always, constantly. Jacksonville as a city, it's just delightful.
That's terrible. Jeez.
I know. The Cubs finally decided they followed suit of what like the Blackhawks were doing, where it's like, you know what, the way we've been doing shit, it's not working.
Right.
It's not working. Nuked it. Just started a new way of life. There are so many McCaskey kids, grandkids, great grandkids. They're never selling this team, and unless some kid comes out of nowhere who's got this new perspective on things, it's a family-run team, and it's going to be a subpar team. In terms of just the way it's run in general, Pace might be able to milk a championship out of this. Out of this, not necessarily maybe this roster this year or anything like that, but I think you made a good coaching hire. I think that they're doing the right things as far as picking people up. I'm not feeling great about the Smith situation, but that's a bit of an enigma. But the arrow is pointing up, but I still have this doubt. I just have this doubt in my head that it's like until this family turns over the reins, like you're never truly going to get a new look at things. They signed a horrible deal with the Park District,
right?
They refuse to get rid of the grass. People are coming here and getting hurt, rating us like the worst playing surface in the league. It goes on and on.
I will say this until the day I die: the biggest travesty in sports, the worst situation in sports, is that the Chicago Bears do not own their own stadium. I can't even fathom.
You're the first franchise and you don't own it.
You don't own a stadium. There are high school football games and international soccer games, and there are MLS games, and there are concerts and everything. It's fine. I get it. If you need the money, and it's whatever. I get it. I understand it. But I can't fathom the fact that the Bears don't own their own stadium. You are not a great organization because you're old. All you are is an old organization. That's all it is. It doesn't make you great because you've been here the longest. It just makes you the one that's been the longest. You don't own your own stadium. It is one thing I will never, ever let go of or get over in the world of sports, that the Bears do not own their own stadium. It boggles my mind that there could be 3 high school football games the day before you play an NFL game. I don't get it.
Yep.
I will never understand it. I will never, ever give up on it. I will never say, okay, all right, I understand. Never. I never will.
No.
It's, to me, it is one of the biggest mistakes in all of sports.
And why the possibility of it is so easily dismissed by signing a 25-year lease with the Park District. It's like, well, okay, I guess that we have no interest in ever doing it then. What are you going to do? Try and go through a legal battle and break your lease with the Park District?
They give the contract to Virginia, and someone put their finger over the 2. Oh, a 5-year deal. That's lovely. Yes, that sounds great.
25 years.
Right. Seriously? How does that happen? How does it happen? It's like, oh, you can't leave that iconic stadium. Yeah, you can. It's a dump. It's a dump. I mean, come on, seriously, get things modern. And Ricketts, it all worked out well for this guy, but they're tearing down the neighborhood, and he's like, hey, I'm not moving. I can't tear down the stadium, so I'm just going to build everything around it. So that's great for them. Like the day that guy gave up his leverage of moving the Cubs out of that stadium was the day I was like, this guy's not going to make it. Now I was 100% wrong on that. Now they're just tearing everything down and building everything around it, and they're winning now. Right? It's unbelievable, and they're doing great. But when you gave up that leverage, and the Bears would never do that, and now you can't.
Right?
You signed it. I mean, that's a lifetime deal for some people in that family.
Was in I think That was in like 2010,
Oh yeah, no, it's within the last 10 years, right?
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, could be wrong on it,
they're
but-
not even 10 years in on a 25.
But it's just it's stupid, and you got one of the smallest stadiums with one of the most rabid fan
It is the
bases in the
smallest.
country. It is the smallest.
smallest.
And now we're seeing Super Bowls held in cold climate, winter
Right.
cities. That's never going to happen.
Well, not to mention, even if we had the biggest stadium, we don't have the we could not handle it logistically. Like, it'd be like when they were talking about bringing the Olympics here. I mean, like, short of redoing the entire transit system, like, it would shut. That would just completely
yeah, I guess
shut.
I guess it worked in Jacksonville because they put half the people that were there covering it on,
out
on
in-
cruise
just
ships
out in
and
the
sent them
water.
out in the water,
Yeah.
right? Or we stayed at a crack house. So
yeah,
that was
it's like Indianapolis with a beach. but I did Indianapolis. It sounds like we're like
Indianapolis
badass
sounds like it was a
hosts,
great time.
man.
Yeah.
But
No,
everything's new,
and it's back there
It's
again.
all
I mean,
new.
it'll be there again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's never going to happen. Yeah, and I get the logistics of it, but if you I mean, you work a deal out in your favor, and they never have. They've always allowed, they've always allowed like nostalgic type emotions take over in their business dealings.
Right.
And that's not the way you become a winner.
Right. And then it's just once you outstay your welcome to the point where like they can't even, there's not enough PR on the world or in the world to support you. They move on to another family member.
Well, that's another thing too. I mean, not only is there not enough PR people in the world to help you, but then they're terrible at that as well.
Oh my God.
Awful at it.
Yeah. Their media stuff is ridiculous.
It's brutal. I mean, they're one of the worst in sports.
Yeah.
At least when the Blackhawks were trying to dig out of a hole, and the Cubs, when they were terrible, and they had John McDonough, who's now with the Hawks, at least that guy knew what to do. I mean, the guy knew how to sell something that was trash.
Yeah.
They're trash, and they're highlighting the fact that they're trash. We're a dumpster fire. We're going to set the fire ourselves. Oh, great, good job on the PR there.
The unfortunate thing is, for a while there, like Cubs games, you could go and get tickets for $10. No one was even going anymore.
Right.
People still go,
Right.
and there, when you see like on the television broadcast, they're like, there are so many no shows, blah blah. Yeah, but they paid for the
Right,
seats.
they're all paid for.
I know
Right.
you're losing the money on the beer and food and stuff, but they paid
They're all
for
paid
the
for.
seats,
Right.
So they don't have to go.
Right, and the thing with the Bears organization and the McCaskey family, even if you're incompetent at your job, as long as you stick around, because length of time is important to them,
Yeah.
you get promoted, you get raises, you get more responsibility, because they're a storied franchise. No, you're not great. Remember, you're just old, and even if you're bad at your job and you're still there, they're going to reward you for still being there.
Can you imagine what being in George's gig like for? Remember what he used to do? He would run the season tickets.
Yeah.
Imagine like just getting all the bitching and complaints and all the stuff that guy gets, and then they're like, "Oh, by the way, now you're going to run the team."
Yeah.
And, he's a meatball, like he's a fan,
Right.
Which I mean, so it's like a dream come true, but at the same time, my God, like you got to like take a step back for a second to be like, "Do I really want to do this to myself?"
There's got to
They
be.
don't seem to care.
There's got to be
They're
a young McCaskey somewhere that is getting like a business degree from MIT and is going to eventually take over the organization and like put football people in charge. I don't know.
I wish I wish it would be like someone's wife. Like I would love if like we eventually just have like a younger like female badass.
Yeah.
Like the people like Amy Trask or like any of the how do you pronounce the last name of the Bills? Pagula, right?
Yeah, or you want like the Cameron Diaz character from Any Given Sunday?
No, because she's an asshole.
Yeah.
but like no, I mean I just think it'd be
Panucciani
great
or
where like
Panucci, whatever her
they
name
give
is.
someone an opportunity and they're just
Yeah.
like, let's go.
Right. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so that gets us to our Twitter handle, and you can follow us at the AFDE Show on Twitter, and you should. And each week we like to highlight some Twitter handles that we follow, bring some tweets to you, mostly funny, sometimes serious. Jason pulls them out for you and highlights these handles. In case you're not following them, you should do that. And before you start, there's one I retweeted a few today. I stumbled across this today. It's called @TrumpDraws. Have
Yeah.
you seen that? That was a rabbit hole for me today. I was just scrolling through that and like laughing out loud at each one. It's
Right.
so great.
Remember, it was
So entertaining.
This was, I think, on election night was the first time I forwarded you that, where like it was showing like stuff that he was drawing like while he was waiting for the results. Yeah,
with
that's
all those
an
bills
around-
that he
yeah,
signed,
yeah.
and then he just flips it around. And it's like it'd be like a house,
Yeah.
and it's spelled wrong. It's like HUSE with an arrow pointing to a house, or like one was me MEE, and it was like him with big orange hair and
Oh, yeah.
giant hands.
It was
Oh, yeah.
it was all like
So
bad
funny.
crayon rendering. It's like
so funny. Yeah, it's great. It's really good stuff. So that's at Trump Draws. What do you got for us this week?
First one at Super 70 Sports.
Oh, that's a good. That's a
It's
good one.
Picture of 3 coaches in their short shorts and their shirts with the caption, "Pretty sure all these guys were on Randall Pink Floyd's ass to sign the pledge." If you don't know, do you know what that's from?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, from Dazed and Confused, where they were like, "You got to sign the pledge to do no drugs."
That
Yeah,
is-
they were
look at
all
that, man.
where. Oh my God, yeah.
The knee-high
Look at just
socks.
holding that in, just holding that thing. That just wants to release.
Definitely not wearing a girdle.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right, so
great.
at Super 70 Sports, got one from our guy Terry
Okay.
at Real Terry Boers. I'm not the world's biggest football fan, but I still love Hard Knocks. This season's opener with the Cleveland Browns was something special thanks to Jarvis Landry. Not only is his workout great, his F-bomb laced speech to teammates was a thing of beauty. Which is
I heard that. Yeah, the boys played that earlier. I don't know if it was today or yesterday they played it, and it was basically this. I can recite it for you. Beep.
Oh, yeah. He was
That's
basically
it.
he called people out for taking days off at practice, and then just started calling them pussies, and then just went
went after
further
'em,
and
yeah.
further and further.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I love that he's like, why do you think that's why this is not this team anymore? That's what Cleveland, he didn't say Cleveland, but that's what this team has been.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of shit that leads to what this team has
Right.
been. And he's like, if he's basically like, if you don't like it,
Get out.
Dude, it was awesome. I was like, woo, dog, man. Got to go with The Onion, obviously.
Yep.
This one made me laugh. So it's struggling used bookstore has tried everything but organizing books by genre and author. So it's just like a bunch of books piled all over the place. Which, if you've ever been to a used bookstore, it totally looks like that. Or if you've watched Neverending Story. At Trevor Noah, host of The Daily Show. I don't know if you saw this trending, but I thought this was so funny because I didn't know. I had to look it up. Luigi was trending on Twitter, just the word Luigi.
Okay.
Apparently, the Nintendo Scape or some Nintendo thing has created a game where he dies and then like Luigi's a ghost character. And he said, "Oh my God, I saw Luigi trending. I was very relieved to find out he was dead and not Me Too'd."
Oh.
The comments. You gotta go look at the comments. There are some people who he's a comedian
Right.
who are like, just come
All
on.
right, I'll take a look
and
at
then
it.
they're just, it's amazing. Like just the too soon. Like you just shut up.
It's good.
It's a good. I thought it was great.
Well, that would have happened if I would have seen that. I would have just texted you Luigi. You'd have been like, all right, jail or Me Too.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now we're like old Zelda, something like that. Old video game characters. The right side of Pong. At Mark Hamill or Hamill himself at Hamill himself.
Oh, he's good.
How about replacing? This is after the news of Donald Trump's Hollywood star getting
Oh, yeah.
destroyed. He tweeted, "How about replacing it with someone who really earned it, like at Carrie Fisher, and got like a ton of."
She doesn't have a.
Nope.
Really? She doesn't have a star? No.
I mean, like you have to like buy it and go through this thing by yourself. You know, it's like an odd thing.
Oh, really?
That's how he got it. You buy it. You know what I mean? You've got to like.
That's weird.
You don't get like voted
Well, I didn't know
for
that.
it. No, like people can petition and say you should have one,
Oh, they did
but
it, like-
Hollywood's not being like, nope.
Out of recognition.
It sounds like there's I think I have an article later on too
Huh.
about the
interesting.
that the city actually. Well, no, I don't even need to read it. The city voted that they're not going to put it back.
Oh, good. Shouldn't.
So, and then by the city, I mean I think it's like 3 people at city council
Fine.
who like control the stars.
That's all right.
It's odd,
At least
right?
They have brains, apparently.
And the last one is from our guy at Adam Hogue saying Christmas music currently playing at the Starbucks I'm working in. And then he did a follow-up tweet. For the record, I'm still an employee of WGN and not Starbucks.
Doing his work while he's sitting in there.
Yes.
Did you see the Onion tweet a day or two ago that said report shows that millions of Americans have to get up and go to work every day just to make ends meet?
Oh, no.
Something like that.
Well,
What'd
no,
you-
the retirement one.
No. I'll grab my phone.
Well, yeah,
and
but
look
it's
at
like people who are about to retire are really looking forward to not having a home. Like, and then there's another one where there's a dude, like there's a cage in the back of a pickup truck and like a guy with a flannel walking, and it's like, we are gradually growing normal, well-balanced human beings from scratch and releasing them back into the wild. Just whoever does their stage photos.
stuff.
It's so funny.
All right, so that's our tweets for the week. Check us out at AFDE Show right there on Twitter, and then you could take a look at who we follow. Those are some suggestions for you on who to follow as well. We'll take a brief time out, come back for our second segment. We start things off with That's So Wisconsin, and it's brought to us by Will's Northwoods Inn. We'll get into that in our second segment. This is the AFDE Show. It's a Batacola Ferrari Discuss Everything podcast. It's episode number 42. It's called Bingo Wings. We're brought to you by Mickey Finn's, Illinois' oldest brew pub, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue, MickeyFinnsBrewery.com.
Guys, what are they going to do next? Like, give you guys urine tests or something?
See, I just didn't know that drugs and alcohol were such a big problem that they had to resort to neo-McCarthyism.
No, I think they're just afraid some of us might be having too good a time.
It's the old age-suppressing youth thing, you know?
Neo-McCarthyism, I like that.
Oh, that's good, Tony.
All right, welcome back into the show. It's Batacola Ferrari Discuss Everything, the AFDE podcast. It's episode number 42. It's called Bingo Wings. He's Ferrari, I'm a Batacola. We're brought to you by Mickey Finn's Brewery, Illinois' oldest brew pub. Check them out, MickeyFinnsBrewery.com. Great food, fantastic beer, live entertainment every Friday and Saturday night. Check them out on their Facebook page or online to see the upcoming acts. They're on Twitter as well at Mickey Finns. We like to start off every second segment of our shows. And again, this is episode 42, Bingo Wings. And we start off our second segment with That's So Wisconsin. We like to highlight a story from the great state of Wisconsin or someone from Wisconsin, generally funny in nature and involving cheese and or butter or dairy, at least of some nature. And it's brought to you by Will's Northwoods Inn. They're at 3030 North Racine in the South Lakeview area. Check them out online at willsnorthwoodsinn.com. Daily specials, fantastic neighborhood bar. You do not have to be a Wisconsinite, a fan of the Badgers, or a fan of the Packers to enjoy a fantastic time at Will's Northwoods Inn. They are a fantastic corner neighborhood bar with a friendly staff. Check them out online at willsnorthwoodsinn.com.
You can just be a fan of being Ted's neighbor.
You can be a fan of just having
Ted
fun.
Brunson's neighbor.
Be a fan of having fun, and you'll want to go to Will's Northwoods Inn.
You're having a good. Oh, today is Kevin's birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Kevin.
The general manager of Will's and friend of the show, friend of us. It's his birthday.
So today I'll text him when we get done.
I gave him a customary. I didn't even give him like old balls though. This was like, man, you are old as hell. Like happy birthday, and he's like, oh, I am old. Thanks, brother.
All right, we'll text him after we're done here. So happy birthday, Kevin.
Yes. So Matt Ford, I was having problems finding some good stuff just because with the elections coming up,
political environment was overwhelming.
Most of the Wisconsin news has been about that. So I was glad when he forwarded me something. It was a year-old article, and I was just like, "Wait, what?" Like, because it was 2017, but then I'm like, "It's the same lady who does it every year," so I just clicked on the 2018.
Yep, I just grabbed the wrong
So
one.
the Wisconsin State Fair is this week, and they constantly have some staple foods, which is going to be a lot of deep-fried stuff. Cheese curds. The Wisconsin State Fair is known for the what do you call it? Cream puffs. That's like their big thing.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. I have never gone to the Wisconsin State Fair. I have been to the Illinois State Fair. That was
I haven't been to either one.
I went when
I would go though.
I went when I was at Southern. We just drove over to it.
I'd go to the Wisconsin ones. It'd probably be easier for me to get to.
True. Yes.
So.
But definitely than getting to Central or Southern Illinois.
Yep.
But anyway, there are some things that he sent that were highlighted that were unique, and then what you would kind of expect. But then I found this other thing that's like there are 80 new Wisconsin State Fair foods. Which one should we try? I'm not going to read all 80. However, it's very easy to skim through this and pick out the ones that are interesting and
so you
might,
highlighted a few for
might
us
kill you the fastest
from the 80. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So one thing that I did read a review of, which sounds awesome, but they have an entire section dedicated to things that are coated with Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Okay.
One of them being corn on the cob,
Interesting.
rolled in like a lotte, so
Sure.
rolled in like the mayonnaise and butter, and then
Covered in Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Cheeto dust.
Okay.
Other than like you looking like a circus clown after you eat it, I
Right.
think that I would eat the hell out of That's like a lotte with Cheetos. That'd be delicious. But they also do Flamin' Hot Asian burritos. It's all deep fried and all rolled and all covered in Cheeto dust.
Cheeto dust. Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay. So and there's some insect things, but let's skim through the list here. Ants on a stick.
Nope.
Yeah. Last year's was the crickets. It was cricket nachos, I believe, is what it was.
Yeah, I did see that one because that wasn't the one I sent you. So, but
Yes.
the ants on a stick, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't want that. Bacon, jam, and brie burger.
Bacon jam, so it's a bacon jam and brie burger.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would do that
Bacon
also.
jam is delicious.
Bacon
And I love
wrapped
brie.
bacon wrapped pork on a stick. I feel like that's getting a little
Redundant.
excessive.
Yep.
Let's see, the bourbon barbecue brisket egg roll. I would definitely eat
Definitely
that.
try that. Yep.
Let's see, hold on, that's a normal one. Camel burger.
I would take a bite.
Yeah.
I would try it just to see what camel tastes like.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Let's see, some of them show the prices, and that's
Yeah.
how I would do it. I'd be like, well, yeah, I'm not going to order like a $12 camel
I guess it
burger.
depends what part of the camel, as long as it's not the camel toe.
Well, I think, it could be the hump. I don't know. Yeah, it's a toe burger. Ugh, camel toe burger. Okay. Chicken in a waffle on a stick. I would eat that.
Done. Yep.
Let's see.
That sounds good, actually.
Chocolate covered Gouda on a stick.
Nope.
I like Gouda.
Yeah,
I
but
don't-
nope, not
yeah.
together.
Cannoli, which is deep fried cranberries. Why would you want to do
No.
that? I don't know. Like, so if you
Doesn't sound terrible.
if
just
you
not
if you have a
interested.
weight problem and a urinary tract infection, you can conquer it all.
If you're on your period,
Yes.
what are you on your period?
Okay.
You get a cranberry juice.
All these things.
I'm the
Deep
guy that
fried
tells you.
spinach lasagna bites.
Deep fried, sure.
I would eat
Give
that.
that a whirl. Yep.
Deep fried turducken on a stick.
Sure.
That's definitely. There's the flaming hot corn on the cob. French onion soup on a stick. So it's basically like a bunch of fried onions, a bunch of cheese, and then they have a batter that is made from PBR.
Huh. Yeah, I that's how I generally judge a restaurant by their French onion soup.
Really?
So, yeah. Oh yeah.
Trish eats that. Well, I can't say often, but I guess I really don't.
mean, if
I don't
I-
really
if-
order soup often.
I mean, if I'm at a restaurant and I'm ordering soup and they have French onion, I'll always order French onion soup.
Okay.
And then I judge the restaurant based on their French onion soup.
All right.
So I would give that a whirl. Yes.
Green mint milk.
Sure.
I mean,
that's fine.
It's kind of like drinking a grasshopper.
Right.
Let's see. There's.
But you know what? You can do better than that for a county fair. I mean, or for a state fair.
Insect jerky.
Seems kind of lazy. Yeah, that's fine too. But I would pass.
Yeah, I'm not good with. I don't want to eat bugs.
Let's do chocolate milk for this fair. Like, yeah, put some effort into it.
All
Green
right.
mint milk. Wait, because you add like green to the description. You got creative.
Yeah.
Like, what other color mint is there?
White.
It's-
White mint milk. They have Milky Way and Snickers in a waffle on a stick.
Like deep fried?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
But like in waffle batter.
Yeah, no,
oh,
it's-
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, these are all things that aren't really going into my September.
Right.
But I would eat them if I were there. Okay. Pig candy. So it's like,
Yeah, good.
yeah, like pieces of the pig, but
Yeah.
like candied.
Yeah,
no.
whatever.
Pizza in a waffle on a stick.
Unnecessary.
It just feels so
Make good pizza.
way too much.
Yeah. Trying too hard right there.
Okay. Smashed blackberry and goat cheese bagel. No, I would
Nope.
eat that, but like
Yeah.
it's not. That doesn't sound like it's
I'd pass right by that booth.
s'mores beer float.
Nope. Don't even want to know what it is.
All right. Strawberry rangoon. So instead of crab, it's filled with strawberries.
Oh, that'll work.
I would eat. Yeah, that
Nice little
would
dessert.
probably be really
Yeah.
good.
A little powdered sugar on top.
Yep. The pork stacular is literally like pork with some more pork and then some more pork, but it got a really bad review because it's at a booth. So I feel like that's generally not the best representation of the restaurant.
Right, probably.
But
Huh. Interesting.
lots of pork.
Some good stuff there, though.
Vegan jerky. I'm all over it.
That's it. That's you, man.
Yeah. Vegetarian wings on a stick. Yeah. And just the funniest name, Wrecking Balls. But yeah,
What was a wrecking ball?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know what it is.
All right, so that's food from the Wisconsin State Fair, and that's our segment, That's So Wisconsin. It's brought to you by Will's Northwoods Inn, 3030 North Racine in the South Lakeview area. Check them out online at willsnorthwoodsinn.com. Add a little bit of God's country in the heart of South Lakeview. It's a great place, great neighborhood bar. Check them out, willsnorthwoodsinn.com. I have one. I know you have some stories. I have one story I want to get to you. I want to ask your opinion on this. This will probably be the only time this ever comes up, where I actually bring up a story involving the WNBA, which is the women's NBA.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard about this. I saw this story, the headline.
Guarantee I did not.
Wanted to read it. For the first time in WNBA history, and I couldn't tell you how long that history is, a team has forfeited a game. The league ruled Tuesday that Las Vegas, I didn't know that there was even a Vegas team.
They have a hockey team.
They will get a loss for its game against Washington that was canceled when the Aces, the Las Vegas Aces, the players decided not to play because of concerns about their health and safety after 26 hours of travel. The Aces needed more than a day to get to Washington from Las Vegas because of flight delays and cancellations Friday. By the time the team reached the hotel, it was 3:45 p.m., about 4 hours before the scheduled tip. The Aces players talked things over. They spoke by phone with the league, or the union on Friday. They called the league to say they did not want to play. The league said it worked extensively hard with both teams to find a workable solution. The WNBA added it delayed the start of the game until 8 p.m. to give the Aces as much time as possible for their arrival. While not ideal, it was the best in available solution to accommodate both our fans and the scheduling challenges, the president of the WNBA said in a statement. So I ask you the question.
So it's about a 6-hour flight that took 26 hours.
Took 26 hours. They landed little more than 4 hours before game time. So I ask you the question. Do you side with the WNBA players? Is it fair that they received a forfeit? How do you evaluate that whole situation? Because I have a mixed bag on the whole situation.
You know, I wish I knew what. I guess I don't know in like recent history of any sport that I've heard of like major delays like that even being an issue. So I don't even know what like other leagues' repercussions are.
Sure.
I mean, I would side with them. I wouldn't want to play after being on a plane for 26 hours. Like, I can't even imagine like trying to do anything, let alone play at a professional level.
My initial thought was, you're a professional athlete. This is your job. And my initial thought was, you don't travel like the rest of us travel. Now, taking a step back to evaluate it, maybe they do. I don't know how WNBA travels. It certainly is not the same caliber of money as the NBA or any male professional sports.
Right.
So maybe they don't have the same type of luxuries that professional sports teams travel with. Maybe they travel more like you and I do and less like NBA players do. I also was thinking, well, it's your job, and regardless of the situation, you have an obligation to a fan base who paid money to go out and see your game that night. I also thought, too, it's not like they were flying the plane and or driving or required manual labor to get to where they were going to. I get you're traveling most of the way, pretty much the entire length of the country. 4 hours seems like, to me, in my world, my brain, enough time to kind of get yourself ready for a game.
I meant like the original, like them saying no. Like the 4 hours, I don't agree that they should. They landed at 3:45.
Right, they pushed the game back an hour.
I just meant like original. Like I would have not wanted to do that either.
Right.
But the additional 4 hours.
Yeah, you had 4 hours of time. They actually, so it would have been 3 hours and 15 minutes. They added an hour to it, and I think they should have got out there to play.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I would have. I mean, my competitiveness, I would have rather given an effort instead of taking a forfeit.
I'll tell you what. If I were on a plane for 26 hours, I'd want whatever sport I was playing. I'd want to be. I'll go. I'll kill somebody.
Now they weren't on a plane for 26 hours.
Right.
I mean, so we don't know the exact details of what their travel was like. There was delays and cancellations and blah blah blah.
Airports.
Who knows how long they sat there for? But again, I mean, as a professional athlete, it's kind of thing. That's part of the issue you got to deal with, man.
I wonder what their travel is like.
Yeah, I wonder. It can't be the same as an NBA team.
I just don't feel like they're like on a first class flight and then hanging out in like a Delta Sky Club. Like I feel like they're in the terminal.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Like 26 hours. That's like traveling to a way foreign land. Like that's a lot. I mean, that's like that's longer than a flight to Australia.
Is it? Wait, what is it?
Like
I don't even
17
know.
hours.
Oh, is it really?
But there's probably I don't think that there are direct ones. But I mean, like it's 17 hours of air
time.
travel.
Sure. Wow.
So
I was just kind of wondering. That story kind of grabbed me a little bit, and I was wondering you know, how you think you would deal with it. I think I would rather give it a try than to automatically take a loss in a season. I don't know.
Do they play the same amount of games?
I don't think they do, because I think their season's a lot shorter.
Okay, I was going to say, because
NBA.
you can take a loss on your 82 games.
Sure. No, absolutely, and that's a valid point. I don't, and I couldn't tell you. I'm not even going to venture a guess, but I know it's less than 82 games. Yeah.
I know this. Yeah. After this, I still know the same amount about the WNBA.
Well, actually, I learned something. I learned that there's a team called the Las Vegas Aces. I had no idea there actually was one. So
it's not a bad name.
There you go. That's that.
All right. So I don't know if people saw this week, but a story came out that a man named Kendall Bruns is going to open up the Pizza Museum, the U.S. Pizza Museum, and it's going to be opened in the South Loop. And I think people, not surprisingly, because I feel like Chicago people would do the exact same thing, so I'm not crapping on New Yorkers, but people immediately went crazy on social media because they thought that somehow that there's some kind of a voting academy that decided that the National Pizza Museum should be in Chicago, and they were all up in arms because it's not in New York, when it turns out that this guy loves pizza, he's worked in restaurants his entire life, and he lives in the South Loop. Why would he go open a National Pizza Museum in New York?
So he's just a restaurant. It's
a museum. It's not a restaurant. It's a museum that pays homage to all pizza.
Okay.
So it's not like it's just a deep dish pizza museum.
Okay.
It's the national. It's the U.S.
And the guy who's starting this
Pizza
on
Museum,
his own
he's
accord
from
is
here
from the South
and
Loop.
wants to open it in Chicago
and
because
so now
he
New Yorkers
lives
are
here.
mad about it because it's not in New York.
Crazy because they're like calling it casserole and all the other stuff.
Guess what? You should have opened one then.
So the last sentence in the article says. Wait, hold on. Where is it? Da-da-da. If New Yorkers were really interested in opening a pizza museum, someone in New York would have opened a pizza museum.
Right.
So, that happened.
Yep. Whatever. You know what? I've never gotten into the whole New York, Chicago pizza thing. I enjoy good
both,
pizza.
Man. I just like pizza.
Right. I enjoy good pizza. You make a good pizza, I'm going to like. I don't care if it's from Boise, Idaho, and if it's good pizza, I'm going to like it. If it's from Chicago, New York, whatever, doesn't matter.
I've definitely gone way back. Like, I love thin so much more.
Well, I like thin crust. I mean, I have a particular style I like, but if it's a thin, flimsy crust that's kind of greasy, I love that. I love a thin, crispy crust. I love a deep dish. I like Salerno style, which is a little thicker. I like Detroit style, which is like a bread. It's all good. Again, make a good pizza. I'm going to like it.
I think the person, I closed the link out, but the person in this article said, all right, well, you guys discuss this while I go have a Detroit-style pizza.
Right, that's fine. Like, throw a piece of white bread with some ketchup and bologna on it and try to call it pepperoni pizza. I'm not going to enjoy it, but you make a good pizza. I don't care where you're from. I'm going to like it.
But if the Jules brand, I'm good with that.
The Jules Thin and Crispy.
That's a good brand.
Yeah.
So I was reading... I know this is odd, but I read Business Insider every day, and I like to.
No, I would have guessed that
to hear what's going on, and I also read Mashable and TechCrunch, so I know what's going on in technology and stuff. But
and you read Glamour and Cosmo too.
I do, because I I really want to know how to take my indoor garden to the next level.
No, you read Cosmo for all the bedroom tips.
Oh yeah. Wait, where is it? Okay, so Jeff. Is it? I always say Bezos. Is it Bezos?
Bezos, yeah.
Okay. So in 1998, when Amazon opened,
he looks like the guy from Sex and the City,
or the guy from the bald guy from Lost.
Oh, I never watched Lost.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I never saw it. All right, sorry, Jeff
so
Bezos.
Good. Anyway, so in 20 years ago, he put out memos to his top employees about hiring practices, and he had 3 questions that he wanted them to ask. That are still a part of anyone who hires at Amazon.
Really?
Still to this day, 20 years later, still the same 3 most important questions to ask a candidate.
All right, you captured my attention with your headline.
Okay. So, number 1, will you admire this person?
Okay.
I definitely would. I mean, I don't know if anyone has looked at me through that lens in an interview before, but I think that's an interesting one. Especially that's like the most important question. Will you admire this person? Number 2, will this person raise the average level of effectiveness of the group they're entering?
Okay, that's a good question.
And number 3,
seems normal to ask.
Along what dimension might this person along what dimension might this person be a superstar?
Interesting.
So those are the 3 questions that Bezos said that he wanted his hiring managers back in 1998, 20 years ago, to ask employees that are now still being asked in Amazon interviews today.
Very cool.
The story came out after there was another story saying that, they're still deciding. They haven't decided where that other location's going to be. Like Chicago's in the mix, Nashville, Kansas City, places like that. Is he? And my dog is shoulder dropping the cage, trying to get in the studio.
I think he was chewing on it. He was biting it.
But anyway, so yeah, I just think, I know people may have their problems with that guy. I use that company almost every single day, or at least every week. I don't care, No,
it's certainly is valuable, and I think if you're talking about a business and growing a business, you might want to listen to what the guy has to say about things. So.
I think so. I think
you don't agree with everything he does and/or says, but that's pretty valuable stuff right there.
Yeah, I think he's doing all right. Pivoting over to something ridiculous. On CNN, so it makes this even a better story.
Okay.
I can't even read. Hold on a second.
Oh my God.
The Amish now have their own Uber.
That's great.
Tim, you know what's funny? Whenever you hear like the Amish names, it's always like the Hockenschnelter or like something like that. Yeah, so it's
Ezekiel.
Tim Hochstedler heard about Uber's success, but realized it didn't operate in his town in southern Michigan. So he got out his horse and buggy and put up a sign. Oh,
yeah. How do they contact? Because they don't use phones or anything, and they don't have cell phones.
Right. So if you watch the video, go to CNN and you can. It's just Amish Uber, or just Google it. There's a video and it shows this guy picking people up and them like talking about how they don't have phones
in a horse and buggy.
It's
right?
amazing. Yes,
that's great.
Amish Uber.
We have a very large Amish clientele at our company at the Health Guardian.
Really?
Yeah. As Amish, they a lot of natural living and natural solutions to health issues, so they buy a lot of our products.
And then whatever's in their diet, they probably need the additional supplements, right?
So, yeah, pretty interesting. So the Amish now have an Uber, and it's a horse and buggy. That's great.
Oh, sidebar about your company. So when I do this vegan thing in September, there are there are several, but there are like 2 very important vitamins that are kind of missed out on if you don't eat like all the normal processed stuff. One of them being B12.
Which is in Cardio for Life,
right? But I mean, I take it's in my multivitamin. I take my own B12. Like I have a B deficiency sometimes, but yeah, more than the daily serving is in one serving of Cardio for Life.
Yep.
So
good.
Boom.
What's the other vitamin? That's
B12, D, iron, and there's something else. That's iodine.
Okay.
Are like the ones that I would.
Yeah, vitamin D3. I think they're 2,500 IUs in the Cardio for Life as well.
Yeah,
so
and I take a supplement for that as well.
Nice.
I've been doing that ever since back problems. But
go.
My doctor said that the 25% of the population has vitamin D deficiency.
Oh wow! I think my mom does actually.
Because he's like, we're from India. You like when you guys say you have sun, it's nothing like the sun there.
Right.
He's like, it's still not producing the vitamin D that like you need.
Yeah,
so
that's interesting.
Yeah. All right. So Amish Uber. The producer cousin Jeremy sent me this link, and I don't like. You don't really need to. We don't really need to go into the story. Just read the headline. Florida man takes 5-foot alligator on beer run. Chaos ensues. Also, I think the last paragraph of the article says he doesn't remember going on the beer run.
Wow.
Which is just interesting because I'm like, what? Like you're like, I gotta take my alligator on this beer run.
That's great.
All right, back to serious,
Okay.
or at least not nonsensical news.
It's a Jim. Okay, good. I was
Yes.
gonna ask.
So
Okay,
Jim
good.
Brown this was on Hall of Fame weekend.
Okay.
He was asked a number of things, and he's been a political activist for a really long time. I mean, like since I believe it was when Muhammad Ali wasn't going to go to Vietnam.
He's always been outspoken.
Yeah,
in his
but
life. Absolutely.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Muhammad Ali were like all at this, the same things. They all work together on stuff. So that being said, you don't know what his perspective's generally going to be on everything. So throughout the Hall of Fame weekend, someone had brought up the topic of kneeling during the national anthem, And Brown said, all right, hold on, let me get to the quotes here. Okay. Spoke out against... That's why it was surprising when Brown spoke out against current NFL players kneeling during the national anthem to bring attention to social issues such as racial inequality. I'll never kneel, and I will always respect the flag. He was interviewed with during Hard Knocks during the Hall of Fame weekend. Brown, 82, said he supported the players' rights to kneel.
82?
Yeah. But he didn't agree with what they're doing. Well, if you take the bottom line, what are we talking about? We're talking about freedom to express oneself. And if you don't break any rules, then you have that particular right. I am not going to denigrate my flag, and I'm going to stand for the national anthem. I'm fighting with all of my strength to make it a better country, but I don't think that's the issue. Because what is the top side? Are you not going to stand up? This is our country, man. We work hard to make it better, and that's my attitude. So I don't relate to this issue because it's newsworthy, because where are your superstars? And where are they at? And aren't they making comments? So, like, basically exactly what you were talking about, where none of the big dogs are jumping on any grenades anytime soon. So that's his stance on it. Like he said, I'll never kneel. Here's why. I don't think that while I'm doing everything in my power I can to make this a better country, and he does race stuff all the time.
Right.
I mean, he's a pillar of that.
Right.
He's like, I don't know. He's clearly not seeing the value in it. What do you think?
Well,
of his take.
Obviously, he has his right to his own opinion and actions he would take and or not take. I support the players that want to kneel, because I think we can't be misguided in what the kneeling is about. It's not about the men and women that serve in the armed forces. It's not about the American flag. It's not about being patriotic. It's about something greater, and it's about drawing attention and conversation to something that is an issue in our country. If you make it about something it's not, then you're foolishly following the lead of what the president and his supporters want, or you believe in the same types of you have the same belief system that the president and his supporters have, which is based in racism and ignorance.
Right.
If I were an NFL player, I would kneel with my teammates in support of what they're voicing their opinions on. I would do that. My mom and dad served in the military. My oldest brother served in the military. My nephew served in the military. It's not about disrespecting the men and women in uniform or our country or our flag. It's about voicing an opinion of something that is wrong in our country, where there is not a proper balance. There's not an understanding. So yeah, I get where he's coming from. I understand people who voice an opposition to the kneeling in the same way that he voiced his opinion.
And it sounds like, and he's obviously talked with young players and talked with the Hall of Famers and people who are going in and stuff. And I think it sounds like arguments were put in. Well, not argument, but like, sell me on this basically. Right. And he's not buying it. And,
and that's fine.
I understand that.
But if people can have conversations through it, though, I think that's a good starting point to be at.
Right.
Is to be able to have conversations. It's when it's blind hatred from both sides. That creates a greater division and a greater issue. But yeah, so yeah, I get where he's coming from, and would as him or anyone else who feels the same way he does, I would value a conversation like that. But I know what I believe, and I'm not going to change how I feel about it.
What's interesting would be, I bet that people are shocked. Like,
very much so.
Honestly,
I would have thought that just by being an outspoken black man in this country, that he would have supported the players and what they're doing, and Colin Kaepernick and so on and so forth. So yeah, I was a little surprised by that.
But I bet players are shocked. But what are you going to say to like the greatest football player ever? Like,
you
know what I mean?
Can't say anything to him. I know. And again, he's not being ignorant.
No, absolutely not. No, I just mean like I was surprised by it, but I mean like just given his political credibility over an amazing life.
I was surprised at his feelings on it. Absolutely. Yep.
All right, so back to, well, not ridiculous, but just a lighter tone. Headline: New Jersey woman buys coffee for man short on cash. Turns out to be Keith Urban.
Great.
So, Keith Urban stopped in a store to buy a little something and didn't have any cash, and a substitute teacher was is preaching to her students to pay it forward, so offered to pay for Keith Urban's, I think he was getting some kind of candy or something along those lines, and then found out who it was.
Yeah.
And then she posted on the Instagrams a picture with her and Keith.
That's great.
I just thought that was hilarious. Or
it's funny
Facebook.
to not, I guess, unless you're a country music fan, you wouldn't really recognize him, but it'd be hard not to recognize him. Though.
Yeah, this is
my world.
One of the kids. My favorite story of the day is how my third grade teacher thought Keith Urban was down on his luck and couldn't pay for his Wawa snacks, so she bought them for him. What an angel.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh, boy. All right. Here's a good one. Because this warms my heart because, I feel this way. Maxim Magazine.
Oh, I saw this.
New study says watching the Kardashians actually makes you a worse person.
Yep, I just read this.
Reality TV really does rot your brain. I don't know that I need to read any stats on that. I just feel like, that's true.
I do not need any evidence for it.
No. She is just...
It's a nice picture, though, but...
Yeah, she looks kind of dead there.
Yeah.
Is it like zombie?
She kind of does
chic?
at times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zombie-ish at times.
Giant butt.
With like a blank, empty stare.
Yep.
That's normal.
That's a family trademark.
Yeah.
They're billionaire blank stare. Ugh. All right. Well, let's see. How far are we? We're good. We're good. We've got enough stuff. I think we can get to the inspirational story.
Yeah. So we like to leave you with an inspirational story to end each episode. This is episode 42. It's called Bingo Wings. Want to give you a positive feeling to end the podcast with.
All right, so this is from thegoodnewsnetwork.org.
Yeah, one of your favorites.
But I haven't been using this the last couple of times, but I went back to the well. Headline, minutes after saying I do, hero groom jumps into the ocean to save drowning teen. Zach Edwards' wedding day was a pretty significant event, but not just because he got to marry the love of his life. It was also because he ended up saving the life of a teenager minutes after saying I do. The 37-year-old Coast Guard and his wife Cindy had just tied the knot on the sands of Shell Beach, Alabama last week when disaster struck. As they were posing for wedding photos, they heard someone screaming for help. 18-year-old Jamel Robinson was trapped in a riptide 50 yards out from the seashore, and it was clear that he was struggling to stay afloat. Though there were lifeguards on duty at the time, they were all busy saving other drowning swimmers from the current.
Holy crap.
Cindy immediately urged her newlywed husband to save the boy. Zach took off his wedding shirt and was about to take off his pants before his wife said there was no time, so without further delay, he took off down the beach. Before he plunged into the surf, he grabbed a boogie board from some beachgoers and made his way out to the teen. Zach helped the boy onto the board and started helping him back to shore. As they continued swimming, however, the groom started to get tired and slightly panicked. I eventually reached him, but we were about a half football field away from the shore. He just kept saying, I can't breathe, said Edwards. The current was really strong, and it was stopping us coming in any further. The pants were making it hard to kick, too. Thankfully, a team of rescuers arrived by jet ski and pulled Zach and Jamel out of the water.
Wow.
I didn't really take in the gravity of the situation until I laid down that night. Afterwards, my hands were shaking, but the adrenaline was just pumping, says Zach. Jamel was shaken but unharmed by the incident, and he was able to start his senior year of high school I guess this year. They're just missing a word in the article. He and his mother thanked Zach for the rescue, but the groom says it was all in a wedding day's work.
Nice.
Well, that's
very cool.
Minutes after I do. Yeah, let's take some pictures. Oh boy,
good thing.
He's a Coast Guard.
Coast Guard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how lucky was that?
Crazy, right?
Very good story.
Yeah, I love.
That's a really good. That's not a tearjerker. That's just a feel good. That's
cool,
great.
man.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
very
that guy's
good.
a badass.
Good for him. Good story. So that's our inspirational story for this week's episode. I got goosebumps. That's pretty good. That's a really good story. We like to bring you something positive at the end of each episode. So that wraps up episode 42. Thanks for listening, downloading, being a part of the program. We do appreciate your continued support. Remember, tell your friends, family, neighbors, coworkers all about the AFDE show. And then download each episode and listen each week to our new podcast. This is episode 42. It's called Bingo Wings. Big thank you to our friends Will's Northwoods Inn. They're at 3030 North Racine in South Lakeview. Add a little bit of God's country to the heart of South Lakeview. Check them out at willsnorthwoodsinn.com. Also, and of course, our good friends over at Mickey Finn's, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in beautiful and historic downtown Libertyville. Great food, fantastic brew, the oldest brew pub in the state of Illinois. Check them out at mickeyfinnsbrewery.com. gmail.com. So on behalf of Jason, I'm Matt. Thank you for listening to the Batacola Ferrari Discuss Everything podcast. That wraps up episode 42, Bingo Wings. We'll see you next time. Remember, take time to love the ones you're with and be good, be kind to strangers, because you never know how long we have on this earth. Be kind to strangers. Love each other. Take care. Be good. See you later. Bye-bye. Adios. See ya. That's all. Gotta go. Leaving now. Last one.